Girls
versus Ghouls.
Good evening and welcome. This is Girls vs. Ghouls. Tonight, we're discussing Griffith Park in Los Angeles, California. A large park, one of the largest in California, within the Santa Monica Mountains, containing the famous Hollywood sign, an observatory, and the LA Zoo, as well as thousands of acres of forest. In this episode, we will ask questions like, is it haunted? And what ghost sightings have been reported? Death and murder have occurred within the park. Is it really subject to a vengeful curse? Stay tuned to hear about tragic accidents, curses, ghosts, murders, and even werewolves. This is Griffith Park. All right.
Griffith Park's a
So-
party. So much happening.
Griffith, there is so much going on.
There's a lot to do there.
No,
too.
honestly,
You got me at werewolves.
the fun thing about Griffith Park is not only are there fun activities for the whole family, but there's also
Ghouls.
something for everyone. Yeah, it was just in the paranormal. You got cryptids, you got ghosts, you got curses. What more can you ask for? I was not expecting any of this. When I first heard about this park, I was imagining maybe a little kid 20 years ago claimed to have seen the apparition of a lady and it got in some little newspaper and then everyone's like, oh, it's haunted. But then we actually look into it and it's like, oh my goodness. No, there is a lot more that people are claiming about this park. And not only that, but true crime related murders and mysteries and people going missing and then their remains being found years later within the forested part of Griffith Park. Because something to keep in mind, unless I'm mistaken, is this the second or the first largest park in California?
Second.
City park.
Wait. Yeah, second largest behind Mission Trails in
Mission
California.
Trails, that's
And
right.
It's the 11th largest
Got it.
in the
Yeah.
country. Despite it, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty big.
Apparently, I heard this is a sad.
Hmm.
In LA County, despite having the
Oh, no way.
largest park in the state, they have like the least like park accessibility in the like country for like the average citizen to be able to access like parks. You know how like Menifee,
Really?
Allison, or you know when we lived there, they went through like this huge park build thing where they built like 6 parks all over the place. Because I guess like overall happiness of
Yeah.
citizens are related to park accessibility. That's why people in LA are so upset. I can't go to the park. And the
Why can't they
traffic.
go to the park?
Because they don't. It's just they have low park accessibility. Despite having one of the largest parks in the country, they have very low park accessibility.
Weird.
They're ranked like 3rd lowest in the entire country,
I hate them.
which is insane.
It's interesting. So for
Build some parks, LA.
context, the park is 4,210 acres. So yeah, pretty large.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Big number.
to be clear, none of us have ourselves been to Griffith Park. I don't think I have. I've been to Hollywood, but not up to the sign or anything, which is in Griffith Park.
Can you still
It's
hike
just
to
in
the
the
sign?
main downtown. Yeah, you can. You can go up there. People still take pictures up there.
I thought they like closed it because of vandalism or something. Maybe people can go back up there. Did you know the Hollywood sign? It was originally put up because it was an advertisement for a realtor company.
No.
Yeah, I learned that while reading about
That's
Griffith
funny.
Park. I was like, whoa, I guess if it works. I guess it brought tourists, so they're like, let's just keep it up. Nice.
A Hollywood realtor company.
Yeah, some realtor company. They're like, come to Hollywood, buy some homes. They're like, people are like, look at that sign. It's very nice.
Yeah, now it's totally a landmark. People go across the world to come see our Hollywood sign.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
it's one of the most notable landmarks in the world. Oh, the realtor
Wild.
sign.
Yeah,
Let's begin.
that's free real estate.
Yeah, that's wild. I never knew that.
Okay, so to begin, the story of Griffith Park does begin with the namesake, the Griffith family. And that's also where we get the really interesting legend about the curse that supposedly still affects Griffith Park to this day. Maddie, do you want to kick it off?
I don't think it. I think that's the wrong family. It was the Fleece family. Yeah, that whose like daughter or who cursed because they sold the land to Griffith. They sold like most of it or like a good portion of. They had like 6,000 acres, and they sold 4,000 to Griffith, and then she was like, that was my property." But and so not the Griffith family. They bought the land that pissed the girl
Okay.
off.
So she cursed the land.
We'll talk about that later when
because...
Allison talks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Griffith J. Griffith. First name is last name is first name. He was born in Wales. His uncle brought him over to the United States when he was a child. I guess there were like better opportunities. And like at that time, 1850s, everyone was like, let's go to America. So yeah, he came to America with his uncle. He settled in Pennsylvania and then started working in the newspaper industry, which then eventually brought him to San Francisco. And he became a manager at the Herald Publishing Company, which was like a newspaper that only lasted for like 6 years or something. In 1887, he married Mary Agnes Christina Mesmer. And he became a mining correspondent, which is where he got all his money. He got like a lot of knowledge from being a mining correspondent in the newspaper, and people wanted his knowledge. I'm not exactly sure how extent that is. From what I've heard, he was kind of narcissistic. He was described as like a roly-poly, pompous little fellow, apparently.
Roly-poly, pompous little fellow?
Yeah, quite the description.
What the Yo, if anybody ever described me that way, I
instantly insulted.
Yeah, no. She's a really pulley kind of fella. I'm like
pompous.
A pompous? I don't even know what that means, but hell no. I would hate that. That's rude. That's a very rude way to describe somebody, in my opinion.
Well, maybe he's a rude person to earn that descriptor.
Yeah, we'll keep talking. We'll find out. 1882, he moved to Los Angeles and purchased 4,000 acres of the Rancho Los Feliz and started an ostrich farm there because at the time, ostrich feathers were used in like really popular in like women's hats and clothing. So they were selling the feathers. Eventually, he gave 3,000 acres to the city of Los Angeles as a Christmas present. Now, it's debated as to the reason why he gave it to them. Some people think it was to get a tax break because of how much, land property tax. Others, say apparently he also like toured Europe and stuff, and there they have a lot of recreational parks, and he really liked parks. And so there could be a mixture of the two, that he wanted to donate it to be a park, but also didn't want to pay the taxes. Maybe. And so yeah, they gave a Christmas gift. Here you go. And now we're going to talk about okay. So while vacationing in Santa Monica in 1903, Griffith was described by hotel staff that he was acting strange. And while his wife like kneeled in front of him, he had his revolver in one hand and a Bible in the other, and he was like asking her questions. He asked about like if he was delusional, I guess, and he thought that his wife, who was Catholic, he didn't like Catholics inherently, but he married a Catholic because her family was rich. He inherently didn't trust, he didn't like Catholics, and so in his mind, his wife was in cahoots with the Pope to poison him.
Oh my this is like the most frightening thing.
It's insane. Okay, so he's asking her these questions. He's
Bible,
like, what?
Bible and revolver?
Yeah, Bible,
Never
revolver.
A good combo.
So he's asking her these questions. He's like, have you, did you, I guess a family friend of hers had like died recently and she inherited some money or something from them. And he was like, did you poison them? Are you poisoning me? And he asked her if she had ever, like, if she's always been faithful to him. And then she didn't get to answer because he shot her in the face.
Oh my
But
god.
he didn't kill her. And she
Oh my
escaped.
god.
She escaped the hotel by jumping out of the window and landing on an awning. And she fractured her shoulder, but she survived. But she lost her right eye from the gunshot. Okay.
First of all, what a badass survivor she is. Second of all, it's absolutely terrifying. What a psychopath.
Yeah, everything about that is insane. So Griffith was charged with assault with a deadly weapon and intent to commit murder, but he was only given 2 years. And even people at the time, they were like that. They all thought that was a light sentence. But he was given, I guess his wife testified that even though people thought in like the public eye, he was a strict no alcohol type of person, he was a secret drunk, and he was like a delusional drunk, I guess. Or they described him as having like a Jekyll Hyde personality, where like he would just become like this insane person when he became really drunk. Which, I don't know, when you, from newer studies, they talk about how like it like kind of just makes you more the person that you actually are or something, because it takes away your inhibitions. I'm not sure how thorough those studies are, but if that's the case, people gotta stop using alcohol as an excuse, man. Like, you're just an angry person, I guess.
I always agreed with that. I've been drunk. That's never made me do something I wouldn't have had the inclination to do anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So he was sentenced to 2 years in San Quentin, and he was given medical aid for his condition of alcoholic insanity. And on November 4th of 1904, while he was in prison, his wife was granted a divorce, thank God, on the grounds of cruelty, and was awarded custody of their 16-year-old son, Vandal. And the court also ordered that he had to pay for his son's Stanford education. And then in 1906, he was released from prison. And he was trying to like make people like didn't really like him anymore. If he was already described as a pompous little fellow, and now he shot his wife so yeah. In 1912, Griffith offered a second present to Los Angeles in the form of money for to build a Greek theater and a Hall of Science / observatory. But they were like, no, because the public eye, they're like, we can't just be accepting money from the guy no one likes. So they waited till he died and accepted the money he left in his will to them. Now, you may wonder why, after he shot his wife and everyone hated him, why is it still named after him? And there's a reason for that. In the deed, it is specified that they cannot change the name from Griffith Park. They did, however, there was Griffith Peak, but they renamed that to Mount Hollywood. So he gave the bulk of his $1.5 million estate to the city to build the Greek theater and observatory. So let's talk about those, because those are the most popular, I guess, attractions in the park. Also, as far as I can see. Oh,
you hear the dog?
Mm-hmm. Also, the Greek theater and the observatory are also the most expensive things, as far as I can tell. So let's talk about those first. The Greek theater was opened for the first showing on June 26th, 1931. And it was attended by nearly 4,000 people. The seats in the first 2 sections were sold for $1 each, and all the other seats for free. In World War II, the Greek theater was used as barracks for soldiers. And in 2006, the Greek underwent a multi-million-dollar restoration to restore the theater's original facade and bring up this capacity to 5,900, which is what it's at today.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now let's talk about the observatory. It's even more expensive. On June 20th, 1933, the building of the observatory began, and it officially opened in 1935. The Phantom Empire was filmed at the Griffith Observatory in 1935, and this would be the first of many films and TV shows that would be shot here. In February of 1937, the park began publishing a monthly Griffith Observer Astronomy. Oh my gosh. Griffith Observer Astronomy magazine, which is still in publication today. You can get back issues. I'm not sure how far back, but back.
Wait, back issues?
Yeah, like I don't know how. Yeah,
back issues
like,
of the magazine.
Yeah, like
they're talking about like you could get back issues.
You could have back problems like me.
No, I was like,
for the low price of $19.95. No, I don't know how much a
You
subscription
too can
is.
have crippling lower back pain.
It's like the whole
No,
back.
I
It's
just
not
had
even the lower.
I had that on my mind because right before you started recording, we were talking about lower back pain. So when you said I'm sure you can get back issues. I'm like, oh, I know about back issues. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you about back problems, okay? I know about that.
Don't you talk to me about back issues. Sorry, go ahead.
The first planetarium show about space travel, called A Trip to the Moon, premiered on June 28th of 1948 at the Griffith Observatory. And Apollo astronauts trained in the planetarium to learn to navigate by the stars. And the Griffith Observatory was designated a historical cultural monument in 1976. Then they gave the National Guard used it for a while for practicing missions. But then it was eventually closed in the mid-1940s, and they then opened the Roger Young Village, which was a public housing project established to provide temporary housing for veterans returning to Southern California area following the end of World War II. The village consisted of 750 Kuno huts. Quan? I don't know how to say this word. It's Quon.
How do you spell it?
Quan sets. Is it Quan?
Quonset?
Kwanzaa.
It just like you look at it and you're like, that's not a word, but it's a word. Quonset. And apparently it's a type of hut.
Quonset.
It's a type of hut. They're basically, okay, they look like miniature hangars that if you were to take a hanger, shrink it down, and make it a house, that's what it looks like. Like a little hanger.
A dome house.
Kinda like a half a dome, you know? Like a little yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, so think of a cylinder. So imagine a metal cylinder, like an aluminum can, and then you cut it in half vertically.
Stick it in the ground.
And then you take that half and you stick it in the ground.
Call it a house.
That's a house.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the fun stuff that you can do at the park. There's museums. There's the Autry Museum of the American West. It's basically a cowboy museum. They have a collection of detailed and inclusive history of the American West, as well as exchanging different exhibits come in. So you might be something new every time you go there.
That's cool.
They also have 238,000 Native American artifacts and hosts Native Voices, which is the only theater to focus exclusively on new works by indigenous Native American playwrights. There is the what?
Is it playwrights?
Playwrights.
Sorry.
The Travel Town Museum holds a fantastic collection of engines, freight cars, and cabooses. Many of them dating back to the steam-powered railroads of the 1800s.
Yeah, this might sound super weird, but I love going to to like those kind of museums.
Yeah, we went to that train museum all the time by our old
In
house.
Paris?
Yeah. Like, let's go look at trains. Look at this train.
I guess it was like the only thing to do though.
There's
like to go look at trains. They're cool.
There's
We had
also
nothing else to
the
do.
Los Angeles Live Steamers Railroad Museum. And they make scale models of trains that you can ride. They're like tiny trains. And so
And I
yeah,
could ride
go
it.
ride a tiny train. Also, apparently Walt Disney's backyard is over there too. You can look at it. What used to be Walt Disney's
Oh, really?
backyard. Yeah. You can go over there and look at it and think about what Walt Disney might have done back there at one point. There's horseback riding at the Sunset Ranch. And then there's
That's cool.
also the Griffith Park merry-go-round, which has 68 prancing horses that all go up and down, or are called jumpers. They all very fun. With a custom-built organ that plays more than 1,500 marches and waltz. That's a lot of songs.
Holy- That's a lot of horses on it too.
I want to see this It's a carousel, right?
Yeah. Originally built in 1926, it was brought to the park in 1937. And this very carousel is where Walt Disney sat and watched his young children play and dreamed up a land where families can go together and enjoy themselves that we now call Disneyland.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So there you go.
It all came from this carousel. Allison's getting emotional over Disneyland right now.
I want to go so bad.
Okay, so hikes. You can hike there. There are 53 miles of hiking trails. You can hike all the way to the Bronson Caves, also known as the Bat Cave. It was used as the entrance to the 1960s Bat Cave, as well as a plethora of other movies and shows as well. Like, there has been so much film just at this park in general. Like, I guess it's in Hollywood, you know, they're like, well, there's a nice area, let's go get our cameras and make people run around outside for a minute.
They can make me run around, that's fine.
So yeah,
Allison will happily run around for a minute.
That is Griffith Park. From the fun side, at least. I mean, Jenkins Griffith was kind of a madman. A pompous little fellow, you may say. But
That's
A
right, the
roly-poly pompous
yes,
fellow.
but there's a lot of fun things you can do with your family. Even though, I actually forgot to mention this part. When he designated the land, he said, quote, for the use of the plain people.
Oh my God.
So like people like us.
Allison?
It's me. I'm assaulted. That's literally me.
The plain folk.
I'm literally a plain ass bitch, and he would say something like that.
That pompous asshole.
Hence why he's known as the roly-poly pompous fellow.
Tell me why
They
it's
really call it
scary.
Oh, I got. Well, we said
Oh, yeah.
werewolf earlier.
So we talked about why you could bring your family to it. Now let's talk about
Let's talk about
why
why
you
you
might
shouldn't.
not want to bring your family to it. Yeah, why it might not be a good idea.
All right, one second. Let me pull up my notes. Let's start off with the spookiness of mother trucking Griffith Park. Yes. Okay, there you go. We'll start off with the curse. The most well-known legend of Griffith Park, and the one most ghost sightings are attributed to, is the curse of Dona Patrona. Placed on the island the island.
You are now
Sorry.
on the island.
Yeah, what the in
Allison.
the middle of LA. Sorry.
Allison, we're not talking about Alcatraz anymore. We're not on an island.
Yeah, that shit got me. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay. We're gonna start off with the curse. The most well-known legend of Griffith Park, and the one most ghost sightings are attributed to, is the curse of Dona Patrona. Placed on the land in 1863 after learning that her uncle, wealthy landowner owner, Don Antonio Feliz, had not bequeathed the property to her, the 17-year-old shouted out that the cattle and fields would become diseased and die, and that no one will ever profit from this land. I can't imagine saying something like that to my uncle.
So dramatic.
So dramatic.
Chill, okay?
I want this
Chill.
pony. I want this pony now.
I curse this land. It'll be barren for all of eternity. It's like, whoa, chill.
Yeah, I know. Chill, girl. Chill, Donna. Where was I? As for the land's new owner and the man who helped with the acquirement, Petrola swore that one shall die in an ultimate death and the others in blood and violence. First of all, we were just saying that was dramatic. This is hella dramatic. What the hell? You're wishing death and blood and violence upon these people for buying the property? Honey, chill. That's absolutely wild. I don't even know what to say about that.
That's some big Karen energy.
So that is the curse that she put upon the place. It says her violent proclamation may not have been merely out of spite, as there has been some debate whether Feliz overlooked Petrola for his own violation or was taken advantage of while on his deathbed. I don't know. Don't ask me that. The ghost of Dona Patrona is the most common, described as a young woman in white dress, sometimes riding a white horse. Majestic. Oh, she finally got the pony. I just remember earlier. I was like, she wants a pony. Apparently, she got it.
Wait, she got her. So she got her pony.
I don't know. It says that people see her riding a white horse at midnight. She
should be at
reportedly
peace.
often.
Got a
Apparently,
white
no,
pony.
she ain't at peace. She wanted that land, honey. She didn't
She
want
held
the
a
pony,
grudge.
apparently.
Like, this is mine.
Right off. Wait, do the horse noise again.
Do the clip clop of get Donna riding off into the night.
There goes Donna.
She's gone.
Wait, where was I? It says at midnight she is reportedly often seen at the Paco Feliz Adobe, watching from the Adobe's window on dark and rainy nights. According to the website Weird California, the Adobe is an old remaining structure in the park and currently serves as the Crystal Springs Rangers headquarters. California's folkless Horace Bell wrote that in 1896, the ghost of Don Antonio Feliz, Petrola's uncle, appeared at a party celebrating the transfer of the land from Griffith to the city. Shocking the previous celebratory guests, Feliz took a seat usually reserved for Griffith and proclaimed, "I came to visit you, to dine with me in hell." Oh my god.
She's aggressive.
In your great honor, I have brought an escort of sub-demons. The lights went out and all of the guests. What?
She can't even get
fear?
whole demons. She gets sub demons.
No. It says there are no reports of whether or not the scene was an elaborate prank, because according to Bell, all the guests fled before the demons would have arrived. That's creepy. Feliz's ghost is reportedly still seen wandering his former anchorlands of horseback, most often spotted near B Rock near the old zoo. It should also be noted that some people believe that B Rock resembles the face of Dona Patrona, which is super creepy.
They all have horses?
I don't know, apparently.
Everyone's getting horses here.
all-
If you die at Griffith Park, you get a horse.
Get a horse, yeah. The ghost of Griffith J. Griffith has often been spotted also on horseback. Wow, this is riding a horse too. Stop.
Everyone gets a horse.
You get a horse. You get a horse.
That's like Oprah.
When they describe our death, they're like, and she was accompanied by a small cat. And she got a cat. And she got a cat. Like, all these motherfuckers ride horses.
Upon your death, you will receive
That's
a
what-
noble steed
Yeah.
to ride
wild.
into the afterlife.
Such was the power of her curse and how mad she was she didn't
Everyone
get a
got a
horse,
horse.
that everyone who dies there gets a horse now.
Well,
Talk
yeah.
about manifesting.
Yeah, that's wild. Anyways, let's move on because I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say about any of that. There's got horses in the afterlife. That's literally every single one was riding a horse, right?
They're all playing Red Dead, man.
No, they are.
Yeah. They formed a posse.
They played Red Dead before Red Dead was a thing.
They, like, whistle, it rolls
I don't know.
up. The ghostly steed.
They're wild. Okay, the next part is called the Hollywood sign. In 1932, distraught actress Peg Entwistle leaped on her death from the H of the Hollywood sign. People staring at people staring at the sign after dark have reported seeing a young woman jumping from the H of the sign, vanishing before hitting the ground. Other sightings described to Entwistle included those of a woman matching her description and period clothing wandering the park trails, as well as walking up the path between the sign and her former residence on Beechwood Drive. The smell of gardenias, her perfume set of choice, has been reported to linger near her spirit. Creepy. The haunted picnic table. This one's the funniest one, I swear. Okay, not funny. Sorry, described wrong.
Hilarious.
Actually, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say funny. It's like, oh, there's some
Let's just
happenstance
hear
going
it,
on, but
hilarious.
Hilarious.
yeah, let the listener make up their own mind if they find it funny. And if they're like sociopathic or not.
Like us.
Like you people. Yeah.
Okay. On the other day. Oh, sorry, not on the other day. Sorry.
The other day.
Yeah. On the day before Halloween 2006, a curious article appeared in the LA Times. It's supposed to say Times, but this typo, sorry. And the LA Times website commemorated a freak accident that occurred 30 years commemorated. Okay, let me start all that over. Let me start all that over. On the day before Halloween, on 2006, a curious article appeared in the LA Times website commemorating a freak accident that occurred 30 years earlier in a northwest corner of the park. A young couple making love on the picnic table off Mount Hollywood Drive were crushed by a falling tree, according to the story. A chain of workers hired to clean the tree fell sick or were injured before they could finish the job, including a supervisor who was found dead on an apparent heart attack at the scene. So a guy died. They couldn't finish cleaning up the trees. And the next moments later, people be screwing on the picnic bench and something happens, you guys.
Wait, I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were screwing on the picnic bench, the tree fell, killed them, and then the guys rolled up to clean up that mess, and then they died. Or that guy died. They didn't all die. Maybe they did. Maybe they all got cancer or something and died years later.
Yeah. Oh my God, Madeline, jeez. Maybe they're all dead.
They're all cursed.
We didn't go. I know. Have we gone back to, trace
to
life
check up on these
trajectories of
people.
everybody on the scene? Yeah.
It says while the article was dismissed as a hoax, sightings of a ghostly couple in the area persists, and people familiar with the tales have argued to the site in the hopes of witnessing paranormal activities. First of all, that's a weird hoax.
So it didn't happen?
I don't know. It says that an article that, well, obviously it happened if it was an article that happened 30 years ago. I don't know.
I don't think that holds up at all.
I don't know why that article would show up in the LA Times describing this horrible scene, and then people were like, must be fake. I don't know. Super weird. Now we're moving on. The Old Zoo. Lori Stitchfield, pet psychiatrist, or not psychiatrist, sorry. Lori Stinkfield. Sorry.
Allison, you're having a real big fun with the English language tonight. Commemorated,
I'm
Stinkfield,
tired, okay?
psychologist.
I broke my phone today, okay? I'm emotionally
Oh, that's
drained.
true. She's recovering from severe emotional distress from having no phone on her person for 4 hours.
It was more than 4 hours.
You're right, it was like 6 or 7.
It was a lot. Okay, The Old Zoo. Lori Stinchfield, pet psychic, writes that when she and her film crew visited the Old Zoo grounds in July 2010, she buckled over in nausea. Melon every day. Sorry. She
Not every
stared at
day,
me like,
only
"Fuck you."
sometimes.
Get it right out. Not every day.
Not
Most days.
every day. She envisioned mutilated big cats resorting to cannibalism among other suffering animals, like a monkey accidentally hanging himself from the strings of his playground, elephants with sore infected feet, and a I almost said king dragon again. Motherfucking king dragon. Komodo dragon.
Not the Kanga dragon.
Why can't you say that? This happened before. She couldn't say kangaroo, and so she said Kinga dragon, and Madeline
Komodo dragon.
No.
It's not a kangaroo. It's
Komodo
a Komodo
dragon.
dragon.
Yeah, that's right. She's trying to say Komodo dragon, but she couldn't say it. She said Kinga dragon, and then kept talking. She didn't realize she had misspoken.
I literally had no idea.
And so Mel and I are just sitting there like, what
The
on
elusive
earth
Kanga
is that?
dragon.
What the is a Kanga dragon? Yeah.
The scourge of Kinga dragons upon the park.
Okay. Komodo dragon peering out of the darkness. Even the skeptics bowing their heads. The suffering seems to stick to our breath. Malin, were the animals really mistreated that badly?
I mean,
Probably.
Based on just what I've heard, what I read, it just sounds pretty bad. So I mean,
horrible.
You probably don't hear the possible worst. You know that. So
well, we did today.
It could. Who knows?
I mean,
Monkeys
I don't
hanging
know.
themselves
Like,
and shit.
here's the thing: they didn't even talk. Mel's portion didn't even talk about the treatment that the Kanga dragons experienced. So I don't think we're getting all the story here.
That they existed. That's the real story.
Their existence has been erased.
They're really Kanga dragons. Yeah.
Allison hasn't covered it.
Kanga dragon.
All right. The next part's the cool part. The Beast of Griffith Park.
It's me.
Whether it's a werewolf or a demon possessed by Dona Feliz or a drug-induced hallucinogenic, there is a creature within Griffith Park that is rumored to exist over the past decade. In October 2005, 3 men allegedly retreated from a late-night excursion into the park after an encounter with the beast that had green skin and red hair. Hell no. Lirpa, the internet
leprechaun?
poster who... It says Lirpa. I don't know. The internet poster who starred...
Just like a name someone has on the internet.
No, I said the green with red hair. It was just a leprechaun in a suit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh.
I hated that movie. Remember that movie in
Leprechaun?
The horror movie Leprechaun?
Yes. Bro, I freaking hated that movie. That was hella scary.
I was scrolling and it was labeled as a comedy. I was like, whoa. I had nightmares. Like I remember as a kid, I was like,
I know, right?
Leprechauns are scary.
Laughing through my tears? Like what are you talking about? No, that's wild. I can't believe it would be labeled as a comedy. laughing through my trauma. Like, what? Okay, but anyways, Lirpa, the internet poster who shared the tale, said that she was visited by the men immediately after their experience, perhaps to provide. Oh wait, perhaps to prove they weren't making the story up. She had the men draw and sketch that what they had saw separately. With minor variations, she wrote that their sketches all matched what they had both described to her. Its legs were long as well as its feet, and ta- um taking huge strides. As it made its way down the street, she wrote, its back was bent and its neck was very long and was bent
So
forward.
it's big.
They said no human is huge.
So it's
Yeah.
not a leprechaun.
No.
Confirmed.
Unless it's like Bigfoot dressed as a leprechaun. It's Halloween.
He's
I don't know.
trolling us.
He's trolling us all. They said no human could be bent like that. Its eyes were black, but you could still see the white in its eye. But more recently, in 2009, an 11-year-old boy named Jack wrote on Weird California's site that when visiting the park, he was chased by an unusually large coyote. Reaching the top of a hill, he saw another kid around his age and warned him about the coyote. I'm quite glad you warned me, the child said to Jack. Then he went down the road, wished him good luck. What the fuck? Good luck, bro. There's a coyote that way. Like, what the fuck? That sounds like something I'd say, honestly.
Bro, it's a coyote.
Bro, it's a coyote. Careful, good luck. Yeah. Me. The kid then ran through some bushes and into a small path. Fearing the coyote, Jack tried to follow him, but never caught up to the kid and never saw the kid or the coyote again. Joel, if I was chased by a bee, I'd be scared. Okay, if I was
Allison saw a
chased by a
tarantula.
fly,
She
I'd be
almost
freaking out.
crapped herself. You know,
Oh,
except she couldn't.
yesterday
'cause
she
was
saw
at
like a
home.
weird looking.
Bro.
Yesterday she saw a weird looking bee and she freaked out.
Bro. No, this thing was evil. Like, that was like one of those Japanese bees that we've been warned about. The killer bees. You know what I mean? What bee was
Yeah.
it? The hellcat of all bees. Dude, this thing was like black with yellow like markings, huge freaking wings. It was like an inch and a half long.
It
It
could
had
have just
a
been a
big
queen.
butt, but the most smallest little like body I've ever seen in my life. Me and Jewel it was Jewel. How to describe it? She's looking it up right now. Describe it, Jewel.
Do you know what happens?
Okay, so what we saw, I think. Sorry, can I finish?
Yeah.
So I think it was probably. I think it was more likely an ant, like yeah, like you were saying, like it's some kind of like queen ant or like a one of those like warrior ants that go about. But it did have red and black stripes, like similar to a bee. And what was really interesting about it is that it
You
had
said
long.
red and black. You mean yellow and black?
Oh,
If I
black
ever
and
saw a
yellow, black
fucking
and
red
yellow.
and black bee, bitch, I'm gone.
I think those are the Asian
Sorry,
killer
yeah.
bees.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
red for danger. Yeah, yellow and black. It had long, skinny legs, and it had these wings. And from its torso, like its thorax, down to its like end of its butt, had a big bulbous butt. But in between the thorax and the end of the butt, it was like such a tiny little like it had like itty bitty waist.
And
Like
a round thing in your face. Baby got back.
I know that's what I was thinking when I was describing, but it had this tiny little like toothpick, like tiny little needle diameter, like little length of it, and
It was
then
weird.
it was really strange. It was like a popsicle,
It was
not a popsicle, it was like a sucker.
It paid no attention to us when we left, but when we came back, it like as soon as we walked by the door, it was still there 3 hours later. Dude, that thing started, it was like freaking out. And like, oh man, I was like, get in the house, bro. Screaming. I was like, I wanted to cry. Right then and there, I wanted to just break down and cry. God, I'm such a baby, but still, it was hella scary.
When honeybees
What?
are like replacing their queen, when it's like time, it's her time. Apparently, they surround her to increase her body heat until she burned up and dies. You know, like her body heat rises to the point where it dies.
I saw
I
that
was like,
they'll surround her and like
that's
vibrate to like
intense.
I think I read that the temperature that is produced by their vibrations is incredibly high, like more so than what would be expected.
Honestly, that would be how you kill me.
Just run
Just
up on you
surround
and
her
shake
until
about.
she heats up.
Hug me. Yeah, bro, you hug me too long, I might die.
It's true. She gets really hot.
That and I'm uncomfortable with hugs.
But yeah, bees are intense.
Allison, just real quick
What?
before you talk about the carousel, I think that what we saw is called a thread-waisted wasp because I'm looking at pictures of it and this is what I saw. I'm gonna post a picture in the chat.
It was a fucking wasp.
It was a wasp.
What does it do? Where's it from? Should I avoid at all costs? Does it say?
Hold on,
Oh my god, I have anxiety now. Why did I see this?
I'm gonna look up what it does, but here's a picture in the chat now of what it looks like. Allison, tell me that's not what we saw.
No, that's 100% it.
Yep, that's it. That's what we saw.
That is so
Ew.
ugly. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Yeah,
my
dude, it was at our
God.
house, like right in front of our door.
Do you see it? How
Does
it's like it has
look
this
like that?
toothpick needle little waist. It's called the thread-waisted wasp.
Of
Okay,
course.
what do I do? Do I avoid at all costs?
I'm gonna read now.
You see why I was gonna cry, Malin, while that thing was freaking out while we got near it?
I
It was
have
so frightening.
never seen something like that before.
What? I'm gonna cry. I don't even know what you're gonna say.
I don't know if you guys want to hear this.
I want to hear it.
The fact that your ass just freaked out like that, I'm literally crying. Okay, go ahead, tell me.
This is literally my least favorite type of insect.
What does it do?
What is it?
Okay. Thread-waisted wasps are typically more than an inch long and are parasitic on insects and spiders.
So they like lay their
The
eggs on them?
host Yes, they yes,
Yes.
exactly. They find another bug or a spider and they
Oh.
paralyze them with their pincher jaws to paralyze them. And then the wasp places the host's body in mud and so that they can't move and then lays an egg on it. Upon hatching, the larva consumes the host. I hate those kinds of bugs. I hate it.
It was so scary. I had literally said, should I kill it? Just like, no. Let it live its life.
It's
I was
currently
wrong.
being something right now.
I know. Look what you did, Jewel.
They nest in burrows and provision their cells with caterpillars that they catch, which are eaten by the wasp larva.
No, we've been having a lot of butterflies lately.
The butterflies!
Oh no. They also put paralyzed spiders in there. Oh, they also provide grasshoppers and crickets. They don't discriminate. They'll eat anything alive and lay their eggs and shit. Oh god. They're horrible. Oh my god, we should have killed it.
It should be dead!
How many butterflies must die now because I let it live? This is my burden.
I hate it. Okay, anyways. I'm gonna start all over. I have anxiety now. The merry-go-round.
Oh wow, that sucked. Oh, thread-waisted wasp, fellas. Oh, that's the real terror tonight.
Avoid. Yeah, I don't know why. Where are they from? Why are they here? Why did I see one in California? Why? Why?
Where are they originally from?
Nande.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Nande. Okay, anyways, let me okay, let's go. The merry-go-round. Louis Alvarado, the honorable mayor of Griffith Park, reportedly encountered a ghost on 2 occasions by the merry-go-round. One night, while checking to help ensure all visitors had left the park in the sunset closing time, Alvarado watched as a man descended a staircase in a the vicinity only to disappear when hitting the last step. Alvarado looked around to see if perhaps a man had disappeared into a or behind a tree, but could not find any trace of him. A few nights later, Alvarado was spooked when the scene repeated itself.
Thoroughly spooked.
Yeah, I don't like that. Really spoopied. The Observatory, Travel Town, and points between. According to LA ghost expert Richard Canadine, the number of reported ghost sightings at both Travel Town and the Observatory became so frequent that the city brought in experienced teams to investigate the source of the alleged paranormal activity. Even with the use of EVP monitors and other advanced equipment, they found nothing to explain the sightings. That was kind of like, oh, cool, and nothing. What's that called? What do they call that? Disappointing?
I mean, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, right. I thought that would be better. All right, I labeled this one "Walk in the Park." In 2012, two women walking their dog made a gruesome discovery on one of the park's hiking trails between the Hollywood sign. It was a severed head wrapped in a plastic bag. A day later, investigators scoured the scene and found more body parts. A right hand, feet buried in a shallow grave, and left hand was found just hours after, according to the LA Times. A fingerprint test would identify the remains belonging to a 66-year-old Harvey Madeleine, a former Mexicana Airlines employee. But no one knew who have wanted him dead. Rumors swirled that Madeleine was a member of the Mexican drug cartel or a victim of the Canadian cannibal killer. Also accused of dismembering and eating a Chinese graduate student. Fucking disgusting. Who the hell? It would be 3 years before the police convicted the real killer, Madeleine's lived-in boyfriend, Gabriel Campos Martinez, who prospectors said typed out an internet search on how to butcher a human carcass for human consumption. I can't even imagine
Always a
doing that.
suspicious search.
The day after Madeleine was last seen alive, according to KABC, Campos Martinez is now serving a prison sentence of 25 to life. So literally the day before he was last seen, this guy was Googling how to do this. Wow. You did it. My God. 25 years to life. And that, you guys, is my last story. There's probably so much more. I know there's a lot more deaths and stuff that happened here. They talked about, I think, let me see if I even had that part. I used to have it. I don't know where it went. But they talked about what's it called? The stranglers that were there?
The
Oh,
Hillside Stranglers.
The hash singing
Hillside
slasher.
Stranglers. Yeah, what's that from? SpongeBob?
SpongeBob.
The Hashling
Night, night,
Slasher.
night, 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 night.
So I'm also going to drop in and talk about some interesting stories I read about the park. But the bent I'm going to be taking is some of the mysterious sort of disappearances and discovery of bodies that have happened at the park. So, it's a big park. It's in LA. So you're going to find, there's going to be some bodies just, milling about. Like people who,
Casually.
maybe there's been some murders. Yeah, there's been some murders, there's been some suicides. But what I'm going to talk about are some of the stranger stories that I found,
Stranger Things.
and also just giving a sense stranger things.
Stranger
Things that are not just your run of the mill murder that has been solved, because there are some unsolved cases that have happened at Griffith Park, and some disappearances that are really interesting, and some discoveries that are rather strange. and perhaps even lend credence to there being maybe some kind of wait, what did Allison call it? It's called the Griffith Park creature. I don't remember the exact terminology she gave.
For the green thing
There might be a
or
werewolf.
the werewolf.
Yeah, it was a
That
green
werewolf
the
doesn't
green
check
thing.
out, man. That kid's story, I don't know. Werewolves don't come out during the day. Mm-mm.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, what did Allison say it was called?
It was just, I don't remember. It was just green thing with red hair, and I thought about a leprechaun.
Damn it. I know all I think about
Isn't
now is
Allison
Leprechaun because
here?
you said that, but she just left the room.
Oh,
I don't know why. Anyway,
the creature of
oh,
Griffith Park.
she went to get barbecue chips. I don't blame her. Anyway, so we have recent stuff. So in 2016, a woman's skull was found by hikers. So we had some hikers, a couple guys, and they were just doing one of those nice hikes on the among the 52 miles of glorious trails that are at the park. And they happened upon a woman's skull. And I have a quote here from an interview from one of the hikers by local news channel KABC. And the quote is thus says, when reporters trekked up into the canyon the morning after the skull was found, the hikers they encountered were spooked, but not entirely surprised by the discovery. And the quote is, "It's pretty rugged here, and a lot of shrubberies and bush. Once you get off the beaten trail, anything could be happening there." End quote. And I felt like that was a really good quote to demonstrate how easy it is to have lots of blind spots when you're in these more wilderness environments in parks like this. And the example being given here is of the clear visual we can all, if we've been hiking, can relate to, which is that in dense enough forest, when you look to your left, you look to your right, you can only see so many feet out, and that's only about like 3 to 5 feet off the ground. If you have something like a body or a skull laying on the ground, it'd be so easy to miss.
Or a
And
bobcat.
so this woman yeah, so this woman's skull has been found, had been there for a while, and at, to this day they have not determined who it belongs to. So that remains unsolved. It remains a mystery.
That's wild. Can't they do like the dental test, or is it?
There has to be teeth attached. It doesn't always
Oh, there's
have
probably no
to.
teeth.
They also
Oh,
have
and
to
yeah, and
like
also the records
have
have to be in their
records.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone's records aren't already in a system, a search of the system isn't going to yield a result. So that's how you can, even though it seems, you feel like it seems like we have everyone's information, but there's still a lot of holes, and so unsolved cases like this can still proliferate.
You can die and no one will know. Fun facts.
All right.
Thanks for that frightening information, Melon.
Yeah. And so here's another one from 2010 where another group of hikers found a man's skull on the park's Skyline Trail, which is a very popular trail at the park. Authorities told local news that the skull had likely been at the park, laying there for as many as 2 years. An exhaustive search of the park's immediate area on Skyline Trail turned up no other remains, so all they found was the skull. The rest of the body had succumbed possibly to animal predation, but they only found the
Or they
skull.
only put the
And
head there.
right, or whatever happened
The
to the
rest of the
man.
body is in
They
their freezer.
I hate to
Or
think
they
that.
ate it.
One of those
Or
two.
they-
Who knows?
Yeah, so that's another skull that's been found at the park. Um, and what I really liked about those two, I really liked, but even in situations or locations like second largest park in California within Los Angeles, these things can still happen. So that perspective I feel is really good to have. So another story that I have here is that this one happened 2019 actually. So super recent. So a man's body was found dismembered at the park. So there is also golf courses around there, and in this case there were some golfers who were going around, and at there's so imagine like a bunch of hills, and between the hills it divots down into like an area that's lower than the top of the hills. And so they saw down there something, and they went down to check it out because it piqued their interest, and it turned out to be a dismembered body. It was dismembered in the sense that it was headless. It did not have a head. It was a torso, with like a limb attached or something. And I say that because upon more discovery, they found like another limb, like a few feet away. And what was crazy about this story was that a body had been dismembered. It didn't have a head, and the authorities rather quickly ruled out that it was a homicide, and the cause of his death was uncertain. And his injuries, they say, were caused by animals. And when I read that, I was rather floored to imagine what is at Griffith Park that would dismember a body like that in such a short amount of time. I guess I meant coyotes possibly. Got to watch out, hey, watch out, coyotes, right? It's either
Possibly a
that or the
large
werewolf.
one.
Yeah,
A
like
mutant
big coyotes,
coyote.
pack of coyotes. Yeah, I know. That was wild. So yeah, guys, it just goes to show, even at a place like Los Angeles, Griffith Park, you got to be careful. Go in groups.
You should be
Don't be
careful in Los
reckless.
Angeles anyway, even if you're not
Oh,
at the park.
I have just be careful. Don't go out by yourself. But if you're going into a park like that where it's so easy for people to just walk by a popular trail for years and not find a body, maybe bring a friend, bring a buddy. Don't go there alone at night
Yeah, definitely
because
don't go
things
at night.
happen that are mysterious, and you don't want to end up on a list of strange stories of unidentified bodies.
Matt, if you're gonna go ghost hunting, then you have to go at night.
Yeah, but we'll be together. They'll have to take us all down.
The pack of coyotes?
Come together right now at Griffith Park.
We'll have our holy water. We'll have our crucifix.
Our
Whatever
silver
works.
bullets?
We'll have a whole
Our
assortment.
garlic?
Yeah, our silver bullets, garlic. Yeah, and so those stories that I gave aren't even count like that's on top of the murders that had happened. Like we could talk about murders, but I was more interested in the unsolved bodies that have been found and the strange dismembering. But yeah, Griffith Park. That's pretty much it on Griffith Park. We have the history, we have curses that allow you to
Get a
receive your
horse.
very own noble steed at the time of your untimely death at the
Best
park.
curse ever.
I know. As far as curses go, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, joke's on her. Her curse only brought horses to their deaths. Now they all ride horses.
We have wildlife that ranges from the mundane to the cryptid.
Yeah, exactly.
We have ghosts on stairs and on picnic tables or deriving from picnic tables. We have psychics,
Seeing
sense in all
gruesome
kinds of
animal death.
yeah, very gruesome. We have unsolved stories, or rather unsolved mysteries of people who have gone missing at the park and only for to have their remains discovered years later and remaining unidentified. To reiterate, it's a really cool place. So much to do. Potentially haunted, potentially cursed, but definitely want to stress that you gotta it's fun to go to fun places, but you gotta stay safe, you gotta be careful, gotta watch out. Even in a city park, you could you could go you could just end up dead and then they don't find you for 2 years. It's actually pretty insane. So bear that in mind if you want to recklessly just go off a trail by
Bring
yourself.
some water.
What?
Bring some water.
Bring your provisions.
Mhm.
So on that note, everyone, thank you for joining us for another episode of Girls vs. Ghouls. Follow us on Instagram at Girls vs. Ghouls and YouTube, Girls vs. Ghouls, for future vlogs such as Griffith Park. Like and subscribe to our podcast for notifications and updates on future episodes. And we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye. Girls
Versus ghouls.